Hello, this is the Radio Geek, and today I thought I'd show you a radio that I built some time ago. It's a Ten-Tec kit, a T-kit, model 1254. It's a shortwave general coverage receiver. It goes from, I think it's 100 kilohertz up all the way up to 30 megahertz, the whole way. The entire shortwave band. So yeah, it goes from 100 kilohertz to 30 megahertz. It has the choice of normal or fast tuning, which is 2.5 kilohertz steps on single sideband, or 5 kilohertz steps in AM band, or in the fast mode it's 100 kilohertz. It has 15 memories that you can program, so 15 of your favorite channels. It does require a 9-volt battery to back those up. When I built the kit, I didn't add the 9-volt battery capability to it. So yeah, if you lose power on this one without the battery, then all your memories are gone. And it also has a kind of a neat thing when the memory channels are empty, or there's nothing there. They are automatically just default to 15 megahertz, which is the one of the WWV stations. It says here that it's sensitized 45 to 75 megahertz local oscillator, 45 megahertz first IF, 455 kilohertz second IF. So it's a dual conversion receiver. 4 kilohertz filter bandwidth combined with good audio response with excellent single sideband CW selectivity. It says, this is the count here. It says semiconductors, 10 ICs, 26 transistors, and 16 diodes. And it says the antenna connector can supply DC voltage for active antennas. It has 1.5 watts of audio output with a built-in speaker, and it has a headphone jack. And it says it comes with a wall cube at 15 volts to power the unit. And it will run anywhere from 12 to 16 volts DC at 500 milliamps. So it's a pretty neat receiver. I got it some time ago. I think I actually got it in late 2009, and I had it for a while, and when I finally got around to billing it, I think it was more like 2011, but they no longer make this shortwave radio. Tentec doesn't have it anymore, I think mainly due to the fact that it had some parts in it that weren't hard for them to source any longer, so they did discontinue it. And of course, since 2009, Tentec has been bought and sold a few different times. It's changed hands. This was back when it was located in Tennessee. So, but it does have some neat features, that's for sure. The manual is rather thick. It's about 100 pages, and it goes into great detail. And I'll kind of see if I can show that to you. Here's the manual here, and it's as you can see, all the pages are uneven, and that's just what it looks like. And the reason for that is it's basically kind of a copy of a copy. It kind of looks like a Xerox thing, and they just fold it in half and staple it. So that is the one complaint a lot of people had with this kit, was that the manual, you know, the quality of the manual wasn't that good. The information is fine, and how to put it together is no problem with that. It's just like some of the schematics and the smaller print things were kind of hard to read just because it wasn't a clear copy. It would have been nice if they would have had a PDF file or something of that nature, but they did not. They did have it broken up really nicely in different sections, and I'll try to get this in here for you. This is the kind of pictorials here, and you had your different phases that you'd go through, and then after each phase there'd be some kind of a test that you would have to do. I think the first part was the display board that you had to put together, and then we had the phase 2 here, and phase 3, 4, phase 5, phase 6, and then you'd be pretty much done. Then it would be just a final assembly for the, you know, the hardware and whatnot. This is just the placement here, and you can see there's quite a few parts there. They're all through-hole parts. Like I read before, there was over, you know, 10 ICs and 25 transistors and so forth. So lots of parts. It did take quite a while to put together. I want to estimate, I didn't do it like all at one time, but I'm going to estimate it was probably between 25 and 30 hours of assembly time, probably. Now, I mean, other people probably have certainly put it together faster than I did, but I like to take my time with it, and I like to enjoy the build as well. So it did take me probably longer than maybe some other people, but I think it turned out really nice. And like I say, I've had it since 2009, finished it up in 2011 when I finally got around to building it, and it's a nice radio. It does pick up things rather well. The shortwave bands and HF bands today have not been that great, but we'll do just kind of a tuning around and see what we can pick up on it. It does have regular AM mode, single sideband mode, and you can select that with the mode switch. It has a VFO and a memory selection there, and then there's a memory write button to write the frequency that you're on to memory, and then you just hit that and scroll what memory you want and hit it again. Speed, if you have it enabled on fast, this little LED comes on and it tunes at 100 kilohertz steps instead of 5 for AM or 2.5 kilohertz for single sideband. It doesn't have a separate upper and lower sideband. It's got a clarifier, so you can adjust up to, I think it's 1.5 kilohertz on either side with the clarifier. And there's just the on-off switch here and the headphone jack, and the rear's just got a antenna input and then a jack for the power. I just currently have it running off of a lab power supply right now. I'm running it at about 14 volts right now, so anywhere between 12 and 15 I think it said was acceptable. So I'll turn up the volume here and we'll tune around and see what we can find.
And this is a record that was a tribute to Blind Lemon Jefferson. Maybe one of the first tribute records that ever came out. I really don't. I don't know for sure. But
my bench is a little uneven, so that's why the radio moves a little bit when I'm tuning it around.
And
Let's see what we can find. I think this is WBCQ.
With the help of World Vision, mothers in the area learned how to provide a better and more balanced diet for their children. Daisy learned how to make new dishes for her daughter and improve her old recipes. Daisy and other mothers make nutritious snacks for children to eat at school, helping them to concentrate and become motivated in their... Lo que pudiera cambiar la historia.
Esta semana en Puente, Estados Unidos y Cuba firman un memorándum de entendimiento para trabajar conjuntamente en el campo de la salud pública. Aprueba un comité de la Cámara Alta en Washington.
Okay, I think This portion is in the ham band, so I'll switch the mode to single sideband. Oh, there was somebody there. Let's see what else we can get.
Wells Fargo, and it said something to the effect that someone had tried to hack the account, and it recommended that I change my password.
See how that clarifier affects it?
I don't know what was going on with that. God only knows. My mother writes occasional checks. She don't write a whole lot, but she does write some, and you never know. You pass a check to somebody, they're smart enough to figure out your account number on the bottom of the check, and a lot of these characters know that everybody and his mother's on the internet or has banking on the internet or what have you, and you know, you have to have a screen name and a password to get in, and so God knows who tries what when they get a hold of a check. But anyway, I got on the site, and I noticed that the old password would still work. They said that somebody had attempted to hack it but weren't successful. They were monkeying around with it. So I changed the password anyway and made it a real doozy. If anybody can hack that, then man, have at it. What I like about the Postal Credit Union, and
It sounds like a challenge, huh?
The Postal Credit Union, I've been with those people forever. Once you get into the site, like you put your screen name, then you put your password, then it asks you a couple of different security questions. And it asks you a couple of security questions, and they're real wacky ones that you fill out in advance that only you would know, or if somebody was holding a 357 Magnum to your head, you might confess what they are to let the hacker get in.
Alright. Looks like the bands may have picked up a little bit since the last time I was checking here earlier this afternoon.
Okay, Hotel W2 Hotel Mr. Allen, how copy KK4? The error Golf Foxtrot, over. Got no copy, this is working. Oh well, thank you so much, Mr. Ball. KK4, Sierra Golf Foxtrot, back to it. We got you back to that. We got a nice jump signal here in the head. Good night.
Between the trees, and we have a very nice location here in New Hampshire, up a little bit higher in elevation, about 300 meters above lake level, Lake Winnipesaukee. So 73, take care, all the best, good morning Peter, and thanks for the call. Italy 1, X-ray, Yankee X-ray, Kilowatt Echo 1 Yankee, good morning. Okay, guys.
Okay.
I need to check 80 meters.
Well, there you go. There's just a little sample of the Tentec 1254. I'm going to pause the camera here and we'll take a peek inside. Here we are at on the inside, and as you can see, lots of parts here. I don't know how this will focus, but I'll try to get in a little bit closer. We got these metal shields around some of the parts, the stages, and then other ones they had you actually solder a top on them and ground them, so they're totally shielded. So yeah, there was quite a few parts to install, and of course there was an alignment section where you had to align things as well. So all in all, it was a pretty fun kit to put together. It just took some time to do. It just basically has a piece of metal on the bottom and the top, and the rest of it's aluminum, and it's like a steel piece that goes on the top and the bottom, and the front bezel is just plastic. The other side is not really that much to see. It's just the speaker mounted here on this aluminum, and then that's the solder side there. So all through-hole components come from the same side and go through the board. And then once you get the board together, then you just need to do all the mechanical things as far as putting it in the case and everything. It does go together pretty nicely. It did turn out rather well. So basically, if you're looking at it, it's the bottom side facing downwards is where all the parts are. So it's kind of an upside down thing there. And then the back of the radio has the antenna jack, which is an RCA style plug, but you can get like an RCA to PL259 style converter thing. This is what I usually use. And then the DC power supply, which is 12 to 15 volts. And that's really all there is to the Ten-Tec 1254. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at it. Unfortunately, these are not available as kits anymore, but who knows, you may find one on eBay unbuilt or something, although I would imagine they'd probably want a fortune for it. So until next time, this is the Radio Geek.